So China just announced that they're going to lift their one-child policy. They had loosened it a little bit already to sometimes allow for 2 children. And now they just announced they're going to have 3 children, a 3-child policy. And we know that the Chinese government has been known to force women to get abortions. Do you think now the Chinese government is going to force women to have children that they don't necessarily want?
Well, I would say a couple of things. First of all, it's about time. I don't know why they didn't do it sooner. And secondly, they should go to the Mao policy that got them in trouble in the first place. You know, if you look at China's population boom, it started because Mao was so terrified of a nuclear war with Russia. He encouraged everyone to have as many kids as they could. And of course, that led to the first population of over a billion people. Now they try to put it in reverse, which has caused all kinds of demographic problems. If way too many men, way too few girls, because of all some of the abortions the government did, some of the abortions people did, because, in rural areas, you want boys because they can work on the farms. So China's got all kinds of problems. I think Xi Jinping will end up being the worst thing that ever happened to China. If you just look at how the China sentiment has risen around the world. So I think this is too little too late, to be honest.
Well, we're definitely seeing it's a bipartisan issue now. The Democratic Party is definitely continuing a lot of things that Trump did to push back against China. But if they do have forced birth, if they're forcing women using the state to have children that they don't want, this seems to be a human rights issue. Do you think America should respond in some way if this is something they do?
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to force people to have abortions than it is to force people to have kids. I mean, what do? Do you artificially inseminate them? That would be a real human rights issue. So I think if everyone has 3 kids, they're probably saying 3. If people have 4, they're not going to arrest them. But as I said, I think it's a little too late because they have huge demographic problems, both in terms of a very aging population, gender imbalance, and an entitlement system that is woefully inadequate.